Greetings. It is good to be with you once again. We have a few new people here. Welcome. Some of you have come here to hear me talk, or to listen to a good sermon, or to some philosophy. I do not do these things. I am not a preacher or a philosopher or anything like that. I am merely here to tell you that you are insane. Insane to believe in this world the way it appears. To believe that you are a body going through these experiences. I'm here to tell you that all of your beliefs are nonsense. Everything that you've believed since you were born, that has been brainwashed into your head, is all a bunch of nonsense. And unless you free yourself from this, you're going to go around and around, never knowing what's going to be next. Like a leaf in the wind, coming back life after life, fighting for survival, not knowing what is going to happen tomorrow. Watching the news on television, seeing all those dastardly things happening in this world. Man's inhumanity to man. Worrying, fretting, going through the whole thing, as most people do. The good news, though, is that you do not have to do all this. The good news is that you do not have to suffer in any way, shape, or manner. You can become free if you want to. You can awaken to your true self, which is perfect harmony, peace and joy, if you want to. You can become perfectly happy without any change in the happiness. To have total, unalloyed happiness forever, if you want to. But you have to pay the price. The price is giving up your ego, killing the mind, getting rid of the dogmas and concepts, the preconceived ideas that you've had for years. How do you do this? By becoming calm. Just by becoming calm. If you can truly become calm, you will be able to overcome every handicap you've ever had. You will be able to find the peace which passeth all understanding. If you truly learn to be calm, the whole world will be yours. What do I mean by calm? I'm not referring to supplementing your feelings or your emotions. I'm not referring to holding it in, not liking something, but you have to be happy about it, and putting on an act of happiness or peace. I'm referring to becoming totally calm in your heart. Totally calm in your heart is when you feel that all is well, that there are no mistakes, To be perfectly calm is to feel something divine within yourself. A joy, a love. Nothing can upset you any longer. Your whole body is perfectly calm. Every cell, every tissue, every atom is at peace. This calmness you cannot even imagine. There are many people who say they're calm until someone rubs them the wrong way. Then what happens to their calmness and their peace? It's gone. They become agitated, excited. Perfect calmness is when you do not change. No matter what you see, no matter what is going on around you, you stay relaxed, peaceful. You may say this is impossible to do. On the contrary, it's not. You can make yourself this way, for this is your true state to begin with. Perfect calmness, perfect happiness, perfect peace. There is an interesting story about Ramana Maharshi that illustrates this point. When he was living in Askanda Ashram, which is up on the hill in Arunachala. In those days there were many people, or sadhus, living in the other caves above him. Before he arrived at Askanda Ashram, the so-called sadhus were visited by devotees, disciples, seekers. People would come to them, give them food, give them money. But when Ramana Maharshi occupied the cave, he was different. He didn't care if anybody came to see him or to give him food or anything else. So with that attitude, he attracted more people. People wanted to see this person who needs nothing, who wants nothing, who is still in calm all day long. Flocks of tourists came to see him. Now the sadhus who lived above him, about 50 feet above him in the cave, became jealous. They decided to kill him. So they rolled boulders down on him, and he would be sitting on a rock outside of the cave, looking at the paper, and a boulder would fall by the side of him. He never looked up. He never glanced. He continued reading the paper. He didn't care. Another boulder came this side of him. Same response. The boulders always missed him. This went on for about a week, at which point he got up and went up to the other cave. He climbed the hill and he looked at the sadhu, right in the face, who was throwing these boulders. And he said, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" He just stared at him and then left. Something happened to the sadhu by the look Ramana gave him. He changed his mind and never bothered him again. There is another incident that Ramana told me personally. In 1948, I was at Arthur Osborne's home near Ramana Ashram, and Ramana used to walk in there every once in a while. He came in one day, sat down, and he started to talk about not reacting to things. He said, "The only spiritual life you need is not to react." And he smiled. And he told me this interesting story that happened to him again. Back in the 1930s, some pundits who lived in Madras decided that Ramana should not remain at Arunachala, that he should come to Madras, where many people could see him and be with him. 12 of them approached Ramana and said, "Ramana, we would like you to come to Madras. We're going to take you to Madras where you can be with more people. You are left in the jungle here, where hardly anybody knows where you are. Most people do not know about you. We will take you to Madras in 2 days' time." Ramana didn't say a word. In times like this, he always kept silent. Totally silent. He never answered. His devotees became very worried, very upset, because they knew he would never answer. He never does. And yet they were going to come in 2 days and take him away. When they left, they asked Ramana, "What have you done? By not answering, you've agreed to go to Madras with these people." He just smiled and said, "Don't worry." Two days passed. The devotees were biting their fingernails. They wanted to lock the doors of the ashram. Some of them wanted to take physical action against these people. For the people from Madras had said, "A group of 20 of us will come in a bus to take him to Madras." They were supposed to be there at 4 o'clock, but they never showed up. Ramana called the cook, and he said, "Prepare a meal for 20 people. They will come soon." And all the devotees said, "What are you talking about? Are you going with them? You can't leave us." They were crying and screaming and doing all kinds of things. Ramana said, "Do not worry. Prepare food." And they did. At about 6 o'clock, the group from Madras entered the hall. They were disheveled. Some of them were bleeding. They sat down in front of Ramana and just looked at him and didn't say a word. And he didn't say a word. What had happened when they were on the bus 2 miles from the ashram, the bus turned over 3 times. Nobody was seriously hurt, but they were in bad shape. They sat on the ashram floor, looking at Ramana. After about an hour, he said, "Come." Let's go to the kitchen and eat. He took them into the kitchen. They ate. Then they came back into the hall and sat down again. After 2 hours of sitting, they got up and went home. And nobody ever heard of them again. Ramana ended the story by telling us that to be calm is the greatest asset in the world. It's the greatest power you can have. If you can only learn to be calm, you will solve every problem. This is something you must remember. When you are perfectly calm, time stops. There is no time. Karma stops. Samskaras stop. Everything becomes null and void. For when you are calm, you are one with the entire energy of the universe, and everything will go well with you. To be calm means you are in control. You're not worried about the situation, the outcome, what is going to happen tomorrow. To be calm means everything is all right. There's nothing to worry about, nothing to fret over. This is also the meaning of the biblical saying, "Be still and know that I am God." To be calm is to be still. If you have a problem right now, think about the problem for a moment. If there is anything wrong with your life, think about that situation for a moment. As you become calm, peaceful, the problem will dissolve of its own nature. There cannot be a problem with a person who is calm. It makes no difference how strong your problem may be. If you remain calm throughout it, you will come out smiling, laughing, at peace. To be perfectly calm is the same as self-inquiry. When you ask the question, who is upset? Who feels discouraged? Who feels disillusioned? When you inquire within, who feels this? The feelings begin to disappear just from the inquiry. This is why self-inquiry is the best psychotherapy around and the cheapest, because you can do it yourself. Whatever happens in your life, it makes no difference what it is, how serious it may be. Merely inquire, to whom does this come? Who is going through this? Who is feeling this? It's the same as being calm. But once you inquire and ask this question, something happens within yourself. There's a shuffling that goes on within yourself. The nervousness, the stress that has been annoying you most of this time starts to back off, and you feel good. So even though some of you are not using self-inquiry for liberation or realization, you can use it in your everyday life to become calm, peaceful, and happy. If you're doing it for this reason, you do not have to go any further. In other words, if you're doing it to solve problems, to get rid of depression, sadness, unhappiness, all you have to do is ask, to whom does this come? Who is feeling this? That's all. And become still. You'll notice you're feeling more peaceful. All of your worries are melting. But of course, if you wish to become liberated, you go all the way with it. You ask, to whom does this come? The answer comes, it's happening to me. I feel this sadness. I feel this stress. Then, who am I? Who am I? All of the time, understanding and realizing that this I we're talking about is not you. This I is the ego, the mind. It's not you. The ego is a knot in your heart that separates the mind from the self. When you follow the I thought back to its source, the knot becomes untied. When the knot is untied, the ego and the mind rush into the heart. They both drown in the heart center, which is the self, and you become liberated. When you say, who am I? You're really asking, where does the I come from? If you do this correctly, you'll soon discover that there never was an I to begin with, that the I does not exist whatsoever, at all, and you will be free. So take an honest look at yourself. Examine your thoughts. Realize that you've been thinking like this for years and years and years. It is your thoughts that bring you problems and troubles. You have believed all this time that thoughts are necessary. You have to have thoughts, or you couldn't exist. You couldn't function. On the contrary, when your thoughts are transcended, transmuted, the pure awareness takes over. The absolute reality. And you will function much better than you did when you used to think. As an example, a little baby does not have to think. It knows somebody takes care of it. Somebody will always take care of it. It's got nothing to think about. It has an inner faith that is unconscious, that it will always be taken care of. An apple tree cannot think, yet beautiful apples grow. Imagine for a moment, if you will, an apple tree that can think. And it's like us. It'd look around and it would say, I don't want to be near this tree. It's a different color than I am. I don't like it. I don't like these flowers around me. I don't like the color of my apples. I don't like this and I don't like that. It would become fussy and irritable, and the tree would die by those very thoughts. But because the tree does not think, the powers that be take care of it, and it grows into a beautiful apple tree with luscious apples. This is true of all of nature and of all babies. It is only when we grow up and we become babbling idiots and we start judging, choosing, coming to conclusions about good and bad, right or wrong, this or that. We start comparing and go through the whole nonsense. This is what keeps us back. This is what prevents us from waking up. Our thoughts. If only we were like the tree, like a flower. It grows wherever you plant it. It doesn't say to you, I'd rather be planted across the street, somebody else's garden. It accepts whatever is done to it and grows into a beautiful flower. Take a look at yourself, all of your prejudices, all of your dislikes, all of the things you believe are wrong with the world. Who are you to believe anything is wrong with this world? Did you create this world? You had absolutely nothing to do with it. You find yourself here as a guest. We have to cohabit with the trees, with the flowers, with the animals, with the minerals, with the people. We're not here to change anything one iota. It is because of man changing things that he suffers. You have to learn to leave things alone, to leave ourselves alone. Do not be harsh with yourself. Start practicing this, being calm, peaceful, relaxed. Close your eyes for a few moments. Feel the peace and calmness everywhere. Understand that the whole universe is simply a reflection of you. Your eyes are closed. There is no universe. You're making up your mind this instant that nothing in this world will ever disturb you again. You have overcome. You understand who you really are now. You are the imperishable self, all-pervading joy and bliss. The past is dead. The future is not here. In this moment, all is well. In this moment, you are peaceful. You are one with all there is. Whatever needs to be resolved is resolved. Wake up now to the self, to nothing, and you will be filled with joy. Filled with happiness, and filled with peace.